Hey guys, I'm Evan, and it is a windy, cold, rainy day here at Country View Acres, so I think I'm going to work inside today. So I want to continue on our solar project, and I think I'm going to work inside the workshop here and work in the solar power room, see if I can get some of the equipment mounted, and then hopefully after that, maybe it'll be clear enough we can go up and finish the wiring on the solar panels and get that all finished up. So right now this room is a blank slate. There is nothing mounted in here. And the first thing I want to mount is a wireway or a wire trough. And it's going to go along this wall right here. And then it's actually going to go around this corner a little bit. And it's going to make it real easy to wire all the equipment along these walls together and make the conduit a lot simpler as well. And it's going to look really good when it's done. So I just need to go drill some holes in it so that they line up with the studs, and we'll go ahead and get this mounted. So I've already got the wireway all assembled. I did have to cut about 4 inches off of this side just to get it to fit on the wall correctly. And there are going to be some covers that will go over this and hide everything when we're done. But I just need to drill out the mounting holes and we'll be good to go. So this is where we find out whether I cut it the right length.
I have to turn it upward.
Okay. Well, it ain't going nowhere. Let's see if we can get these boards out of there. That one's out. Well, thank you. That at least helped me get it mounted on the wall. Appreciate it.
Well, not heavy.
No, it's just very awkward.
Yeah.
And I made it a fairly tight fit. I thought I gave myself 1/8 of an inch, but apparently it's exact. So now that the wireway is mounted, I want to go ahead and get all the equipment on this wall over here. So we're going to have a breaker panel, we're going to have a transfer switch, and then we're going to have a disconnect over here. So I've got everything laid out over here. We just need to punch holes in this for the conduit, and we can get everything mounted. So the first thing goes on here is going to be a disconnect. Let's see if I can get that marked. So we're going to use a knockout punch instead of a hole saw. And there she went. Nice, perfect hole. So I'm just going to dry fit everything for now, make sure everything looks good. She's hot. So this is everything that goes on this wall, and I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. I think it turned out pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a level on these, make sure they're nice and plumb, and then we'll go ahead and attach these to the wall. So remember, there is 5/8 plywood behind the drywall, so we can just screw pretty much anywhere and get these mounted. So the next thing I want to do is to start running some wiring. So I need to run some grid power from the breaker box at the very front of the pole barn. We need to get grid power all the way back here. It's going to come in down this conduit and into the wireway, and that's just going to give us our grid connection for all this equipment. This ladder is almost too small for this. So I got the wire across the garage ceiling, but this was too far for it to span, so I ended up putting a 2x4 all the way down to the other end. And then I've got the cable on top of it, zip tied so it's supported the whole way to the breaker panel that's over there. So tonight I'm going to get up on the roof to the solar panels. I'm going to try to get them wired up. I didn't wire them up when I mounted them. I needed to make a roof penetration, and I didn't have what it took to seal up the roof properly. I think I got what I need now, but I need to mount a junction box up there and then get all the wiring finished. Hopefully we can get that done tonight. So I had originally went to the home improvement store to try to find something to seal around the 3/4 inch conduit that goes through the roof. Some type of roof flashing for a metal roof to seal around a 3/4 inch pipe. And the only thing at the home improvement store is made for plumbing pipes. And this is what they had. This is the smallest they had. This is made for 1/4 inch pipe if you just cut out the middle, or up to 5-inch pipe. This is way too big. In fact, it's almost as tall off the surface of the roof of where my solar panels sit. I mean, this is just way too big. This was not going to work. So I scoured the internet and I was searching for roof flashing for like 3/4 inch pipe. And I found one that was made for 1/2 to 3/4. So I ordered it, and this is what ended up coming. Look at the size difference between these two. It's crazy. I mean, this is only like, I think like 2.5 inches wide. But it is just big enough to work. It's almost too small, but this is what we're going to install today. It sits very flat, so it should sit right underneath our junction box under our solar panel, and hopefully this does the job. But it is way smaller than I thought it was going to be when I ordered it, but hopefully this works. If I can lay it on top of the other one carefully. So this here is my junction box, and I've got little cord grips on the outside, 5 of them, 2 for each solar array, and then I've got 1 for the ground wire. And this is just going to clamp right to the rail. So I think I've got the junction box where I want it, so I'm going to go ahead and drill through the junction box the size of the conduit, and then mark the roof, and then drill the hole in the roof so that they're perfectly in line. Okay, I'm going to drill through the roof. Well, I'm about to see where this thing actually going to fit over this conduit. Oh, it is tight. Oh, I got it. There we go. I want to hit my roof. All right, there it is. Got my little flashing around the conduit. So I'm going to put a Myers hub on here. It's like a box adapter. So this can attach to that junction box. Just like so. And this will go up inside of the hole in the junction box. It's supposed to, at least. This is why I needed it to be this short, because it is going to be tight. All right, we are going to cover this thing in roof caulking, sealant. Just like so. All right, we got our roof penetration done. It's sealed up. We got our junction box on top of it. And then we got our solar panel wiring. We got that into the junction box, just into the junction box. So the next thing we need to do is we need to continue where this conduit comes through the roof. We're going to continue that conduit over to the solar power room and down into the wiring trough. Looks good. All right, we got the conduit done. So it comes through the roof and then it just kind of angles across the ceiling here and goes down into the wireway. All right, I got the junction box wired up. So the first array, I've just got a single piece of tape marking positive and negative. On the second array, I've got a double piece of tape marking positive and negative. And then they just come into the terminal blocks. And then since it's not outside no more, we can switch to regular building wire and go in with some cheaper wire instead of using this heavy PV wire. So that's what the purpose of the junction box is really so you can switch to a more economical wire on the inside of the building. And then we've got our ground wire comes up, comes out, and then it clamps to the rail. And then the way everything is all clamped together here, it makes everything is bonded, so the whole array is grounded with all of the clamps. Well, that ended up taking several days. I ended up working every night after work this week till about dark, trying to, wire this system up and try to get everything ready. And I think I'm finally to the point where I'm as far as I can go, and now I'm ready to start putting on the solar power equipment and the batteries and start putting that in here, and that'll be in a different video. But I just got done doing the solar panel wiring, and I've got their wires hanging out here and ready to go when we mount that equipment. And then I've got my grid power, everything to do with the grid power I've got done. So let me just show you real quick what I did. So from the breaker panel on the front, I ran 100 amps of grid power back here, and then I hit these Polaris connectors, and these are a multi-tap connector. I've got a total of 3 of them here, and then that's allowing me to split that 100 amps of power, and I can split that, and I'm going to 2 places with it. And then on the back of the wiring trough, I do have a ground bar here. So the ground from the front hits this, and then every piece of equipment in here hits this ground bar. So like I said, the power splits, and it feeds the top side of this transfer switch. It also feeds this disconnect, and this disconnect is the grid connection, or the grid power that's going to go to our solar equipment once we get that mounted on the wall here. And then the solar is going to send out power to the bottom side of this transfer switch, and it's a backed up power, backed up with batteries. It's going to be over here. And then this transfer switch feeds this panel. So the intention is for you to always be on solar with battery backup, and it will power this panel, and this panel will actually sub-feed part of the house, and it'll power some of the house as well. And then you have the choice to flip back to grid. If we have any problems with our equipment, we can always flip this back to grid and still have grid power, and then we can safely work on our equipment. But that's what this transfer switch is for, is it's basically kind of an insurance policy. If we have any trouble with the equipment, we can always switch back to grid, but hopefully we'll never have to do that. So the solar equipment that we're putting in is a fairly new product. You've probably never heard of it. It's called the EP Cube, and it's actually made by Canadian Solar. And I'll go ahead and try to find a picture of it. I'll put it on the screen. It's actually a fairly slick looking little system, I think. But it's an all-in-one system. So it has batteries, it has your inverter, it has your grid tie, all of that, all in one. And the batteries stack. The batteries are going to stack up over here, and the inverter is going to be on top of that. And then over this wiring trough here is going to be what they call the gateway, which I would call it kind of like the power hub. It's where all the power kind of comes together, and it can kind of select how it uses that power, and or how much power it sells back to the power company. But pretty slick little system. I wanted something that was scalable, and this is very scalable. You can build it where it's fairly small, or you can build it where you stack these systems up and it's just like outrageously big. So I think we're just putting in like the single stack, and I think it's going to work out fine for what we need. So, but if I ever wanted to, I could always add to it later. But anyway, we're going to be putting that in here pretty soon, and then after that, we've got to run power from this panel over to the house. We've got to trench that in and get the power trenched over there, and then we'll have this backup power over at the house as well. And after that, I've still got to get everything worked out with the power company, because if we can get everything worked out, we're actually going to sell power back to the power company and try to lower our electric bill that way as well. But I think that's going to be it for this video, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.